Hey everyone, for my heritage interpretation video, I am going to talk about the Grand Fir. I know I've talked about it many times before, but I'm going to dive deeper into the tea side of it. So here in my hand, I've got the Grand Fir needles. They're pretty fresh and young off of the tree. And to identify the Grand Fir, you can tell by its more flat shape of its branches, whereas other pine trees tend to grow all the way around in a cylindrical shape. The bark's usually a little different as well. And another way you can tell this is a Grand Fir is if you take some of the needles, you can snap them in half, or you can just smell it straight off of the tree. They will smell like citrus, which I find to be pretty cool. But yeah, as I said, you can turn this into a tea. I've talked about it many times, but I'm actually going to try to turn it into a tea this time. And the quality, they are good for your respiratory support, so breathing problems, they're pretty good to help with that. They're pretty high in vitamin C, just like an orange, so you could just use Grand Fir tea as a alternative for vitamin C supplement, which wouldn't be too bad if you're a tea drinker. Not me personally, but more on the Grand Fir. The height can vary from 30 to 75 meters tall, which is pretty tall. The bark to more identify the Grand Fir in the wild, you can look for its bark. When it's young, it's smooth and gray. Pretty cool. And when it's more mature, the bark goes a gray-brown color and is becoming more rough and rigid to the feel. And the features on the bark, it's pretty thick, with furred and flat ridges, which is good bark for firewood, I'd like to say. And since they're also part of the fir and pine tree style family, I believe that is the carnivorous, they produce cones to reproduce their young. So that's pretty cool.